Hello everyone, welcome to our coding challenge video. This is our first video wherein we are going to tackle an exciting coding challenge. Today, we are going to write a code to find the first non-repeating character in a string. So to find first non-repeating character in a string, let's understand the input and output part. So this is the input wherein 3 is repeated twice, 2 is repeated twice, 4 is I think coming one time, 5 is also one time, 9 is also just appearing one time, and 7 4 times. So here the first non-repeating character will be 4, right? And the last non-repeating character will be 9. Now just going through the algorithm part. So we have to initialize these three variables where R will store the string, minimum will show us the output and having the first non-repeating character, an element, this is the empty object wherein we will do the operation to find the output. Okay, the first step is we have to iterate over each character in the string, right? So here we are going to use the for loop to iterate over the string, and if the key is not in the element object, let's say this is the element, this is the empty, the first time the 3 definitely won't be present in this object, so we will add it into this object, and we will add two things. First is the count and the index. So we will mark, I'll show you here like this, element of key, as in let's start with 3, element of 3 will have one count and index, right? So here the count will definitely be 1 and index will be 0, right? Then it will come with the for loop when it iterate, and the position will be 1. So now what will happen, this element, definitely this key is a part of this element. So herein, if the key is already in the element object, so we have to set the count to -1, indicating that this character is repeated character. So we will make the count -1. The -1 will indicate the repetition of that character, right? Now similarly coming to 5, I'll copy this. So for the first time, here it will come count as 1 and indices 0, 1, 2, 3. So index will come as 3. So it will likewise create this element object for this entire character uh, for this string, for 3, for 5, for 2, likewise. Now this part is also clear, the -1 part. If the character is repeated, then the count will become -1. Now, as we already have this object ready, so having the indication for it is repeated or whether it is not repeated. So now we have to find the first minimum character. So again we have to iterate over the keys in this element. Now to find the key minimum with the maximum index such that its count is not equals to -1. So first of all we will remove, or we will not check all the elements where the count is -1, and second we will find, as we have to find the minimum or the first non-repeating character, right? So we will find the key minimum with the minimum index, right? With the minimum index such that its count is not -1. Okay, let's code it. I'll keep it as is. Okay, let me copy it from here. Now I'll write a for loop I is equals to 0 and I is smaller than r dot length and then I plus plus. Then next step would be I have to do let key equals to this r of I. So the first element, let's say in our case it's I will assign it to a variable key. Then if that element key, definitely for the first time it won't be available in this object. So what I have to do, initialize an object in an element at key with properties count set to 1. So I'll set the property count element of key. I'll set the property count to 1 and index to I. Let me format this document, okay, for the better visibility. Now this if loop, then there is a else part. If the character is already in the element object, then I will mark its count as -1. That will be indicating a repetition. Okay, so element key dot count equals to, in that case, like you can save the index and that is your dependent, because that won't be used. We have to check for index to just find minimum or the maximum index based on the requirement, right? That's why I'm just saving it here. Now this part is done, means we have created an element where we know which are the character which is repeated and which are character which are not repeated. Now what I'll do, I'll again write a for loop, this time for let key in this created element that was earlier empty. Now it has all the details. Element. So the first check I'll do here is if I'll not even check for all the elements having count -1. Okay, let me remove it from the first level itself. Dot count is not equals to -1. Okay, now the further check would be so minimum. Let's say I'll check if, let's say, none are repeated. In that case, the minimum will remain like this only. And let me do or if element of key dot index, okay, this key dot index is smaller than element of minimum dot index. So in this case, minimum equals to key. Okay, so if element of minimum is still greater than element of key dot index, let's say, so in that case I'm checking the index, right, because I have to find the minimum one. So minimum is equals to key. Now I have to print it as well. For that I'll use document dot write minimum. It is coming 2. So 2 is the like element, that is the first non-repeating character. Now if I want to find the last non-repeating character, just I have to tweak it here. Sorry, my bad. So it is coming 8. So this is the last non-repeating character. So I think just prepare for this from your end as well. Try to implement it by yourself, understanding its algorithm. So that's it for the first coding session. So we will be meeting with another